Good morning everyone. By the way, I am Ruth Tormis and I am one of the reporter of Group 4, which is Benefits of the Biodiversity. Anyway, this is the continuation of Miss Tagud's report. Let's start. We've increasingly become aware of our harm to biological resources and the reason for their defense. Slowly, we are introducing national legislation and international treaties to protect such irreplaceable resources, designed to conserve nature and rebuild deteriorating forests, parks, wildlife sanctuaries, life preserves, zoos, and conservation programs. Progress has been positive in this area, but much still remains to be achieved. In 1874, a bill was tabled in the U.S. Congress to preserve the American bison, whose numbers fell significantly. This attempt failed, partially because most politicians couldn't imagine that the biodiversity that was so plentiful and robust could ever deplete human activity. By the end of 19th century, numbers of bison had fallen from about 60 million animals to just a few hundred. So, many states, however, had imposed certain limitations on hunting and fishing by the 1980s. The basic concept behind this law was to conserve the resource in the future for human use, rather than protecting animals for their own. The wildlife regulations and refuge created for many species since that time have been remarkably successful. An approximate 500,000 white-tailed deer lived in the U.S. 100 years ago. Now, there are around 14 million. In some cases, more than the habitat can handle. While turkeys and wood ducks went extinct nearly 50 years ago. By restoring habitat, plant food crops, transplanting, breeding stock, building shelters or houses, and protecting those birds during the breeding season and using other conservation steps. We have restored population of these magnificent and common birds to several each. So, the Endangered Species Act, or ESA, or ESA, is one of the most effective mechanisms to safeguard biodiversity and the environmental integrity. It's not only protect rare and endangered species but also help conserve biodiversity that maintains an entire biological ecosystems and retain significant ecological resources. It provides recommendation for identifying species at risk, guidance to plan for their recovery, helping landowners find ways to meet both economic needs and the needs of endangered species, and introducing steps to protect biodiversity and habitat. This act recognizes three rates of risk. First is endangered species are deemed in imminent danger of extinction. Second, endangered species are likely to be threatened, at least locally in the near future. Obviously, lastly, endangered species are rare or have been degraded locally to a degree that endangered them through human activities. Although endangered species, they are also eligible for possible list. So, I have one example. I have one question here. Why is it important to protect our biodiversity? So, it is because Biodiversity is essential for those processes that support all life on Earth, including humans. Without a range of animals, plants, and microorganisms, we cannot have healthy ecosystem that we are rely to provide us with air we breathe and the food we eat. The people also value nature itself. So I think that's all for today. And thank you for listening.